Chiropractors, are you feeling weary about what you're doing in practice? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by Camp Consultants and Chiro Health USA. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich. I'm joined with my host, Dr. Troy Fox. Troy, you're looking pretty sharp there. You're colorful today.
I am. I'm very vibrant today. I was a little chill in the office this morning, so I had a pullover on over my scrubs. So yes,
You're
I'm
vibrant.
working. Yeah, I'm not golfing today.
You look like you are. You're vibrant. That sounds like something from Seinfeld.
It is. Yeah.
Today.
Feeling vibrant today. That's right. That's how Jerry would say it. So I hear that you, when you were at church this weekend, you were the only one in the congregation. You were sitting by yourself, the pastor looking straight at you, and he told you something that you thought really resonated with chiropractic.
Yeah.
And we talked about this off air a little bit, and I can't wait to hear it because it's fantastic.
Okay, so just follow me on this. So he throws up on the screen Galatians 6:9. And you guys out there, you can look this up, Galatians 6:9. And it says, this is the NIV translation. Look up whatever translation you like. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And I'm telling you, this hit me like a steam engine. It just mowed me over and I went, holy buckets. How often do we hear this? Let me say it a different way. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap if we do not give up. And Troy, how often these days, I don't know if it's the economy or just the negativity in the world or what, but we seem to hear a lot of doctors getting burned out and frustrated with practice. And this is where this hit me, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, let us not become weary in doing good. As chiropractors, do we do good? If you don't think, docs, if you don't think you're out there doing something good for the community, I think you need to take a step back. Because what we do with our hands, what we do with our hands is so uniquely powerful that every time we lay hands on somebody, we're doing something good for somebody else.
Yeah. When is the last time that you heard of a crisis in confidence in chiropractic? Oh my gosh, something that we've been doing. We found out that it's horrible for the patient. We've never had that. Look at what happens in medicine on a regular basis. We now know, and they change their position, or they say, oh no, this drug that we were using, unfortunately, has a kabillion side effects. And we won't get into any specifics, but there's been a lot in the news lately about a specific, maybe mRNA vaccine,
right?
Really has had more and more issues, but yet it was pushed on us like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. When have we had a lack of confidence or a crisis of confidence in chiropractic? We haven't.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the chiropractic adjustment being recalled.
No,
it's not. And what we've been doing for over 100 years is good. And so if you don't think you're doing good, I want you right now to take a step back. If you're a God-fearing person, say a prayer about it. Lord, I'm doing good things in the community. Help me realize, help me see it. Help me deliver this good through you, through your energy. And so that you see it. Because as Galatians says, and we got to take a break, but as Galatians says, let us not become weary in doing good, because we have to wait for the proper time to reap the harvest. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like your practice isn't giving back to you, whether that's monetarily or through fulfillment or whatever it might be, I want you guys to listen up to this message that we're going to give you today in this podcast.
Yeah, we come back, we're going to talk about where the real crisis of confidence is. I've got the answer for you. So after this break.
So we're all on our edge of our seat. We'll be right back.
In today's economy, every dollar counts. Families are facing tough choices, having to reconsider what was once essential to them. But when it comes to healthcare, no one should have to compromise on their well-being because of financial constraints. That's where Chiro Health USA steps in, the solution for your practice. We understand the financial pressures families are under, whether they're insured, on Medicare, or paying out of pocket for treatment. By offering discounts on care, you can ensure that your patients can still afford the treatment they need. At ChiroHealth USA, we're committed to making sure no family has to sacrifice their health due to financial hardship. We'll work with you to create a game plan that keeps your waiting room full and your practice thriving. And here's the best part. Offering affordable care not only benefits your patients, but also positively impacts your bottom line. So why wait? Join ChiroHealth USA today and join the ranks of the most successful practices. Because when you put your patients first, everyone wins.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. We're talking about getting hit upside the head at church this weekend with the sermon, which evolved around Galatians 6:9. I'm going to read it again because this is how much this touched me. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And we hear a lot of doctors say, yeah, I think I'm just going to give up. I'm going to go do something else. Troy, where's this crisis in chiropractic coming from?
I think it's a crisis in confidence in individuals, and it's not just in chiropractic. So follow me on this one. Number one, I think, yes, we do have a crisis of confidence in practice a lot of times. All of us have it at some point. Don't think that we're immune to it, because we all sometimes question ourselves. But I don't care if you were selling widgets, you would question yourself. I don't care if you're in a different type of service industry, you're providing website support. Would you question yourself? Sometimes we do. And I think what happens is when we grind, we get tired. And when we get tired, we give up. And let me tell you where I think some of this comes from. I think we live in a society where there's always a cheat code. And this has been, for those of you that are younger, you guys get it because you played video games, right? In every video game, they call it sometimes pay to win in a video game. You could pay for better gear, or so you could somehow jump to farther along in the game, or be stronger, better, faster, whatever in a game. You know what I'm saying? In other words, because what do people say in video games? I read reviews sometimes on video games just because I'm interested in some of that stuff. And my kids have played a lot of video games over the years. And the review would say, it's too grindy. I have to grind for everything I get. I don't just get it for free. I can't buy it or jump through a special hoop or go through a secret door and get it. And I think in life, a lot of times we do that too. Now, that's always been around. It was around long before video games. But what happens is those that are successful, those that reap the reward, are the ones that actually do the grinding. So you have to grind to get there. And sometimes grinding doesn't look like success when you first do it.
Right.
You grind and grind, and maybe you grind.
A lot of sense.
You grind for weeks, and maybe you get 2 or 3 new patients into your practice as a young chiropractor. I remember, and I'll tell you this story. I remember the very first day I was in practice. It was December 1996.
Dang,
and
you're old.
Practice. And I had a spouse that had worked in a very high volume practice. She knew where we were headed. I couldn't see it. And I was feeling very grindy. We'd spent weeks opening this practice. We finally got it open. I had people like trying to sell me phone systems and that sort of thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I need to get in there and be a new patient in your practice. Guess what? When rubber met the road, I had one patient on day one. That one patient was glorious and then defeating at the same time. I was so excited to see him. And then I spent the rest of the afternoon for about 3 hours sitting in my office. I was going over a bunch of how to talk to patients and just trying to learn better dialogue with patients. I was really grinding. And I got to the end of the day and I was really defeated. And I thought, man, I don't know if this is for me. I really worked hard at this. And I thought for sure when the doors opened, I would have more people come through the door. And I got a phone call at 5:30 in the evening from a well-established chiropractor. It was actually the chiropractor that my mother worked for a number of years. Shout out to Brad Swanson.
Hey, Brad.
On the phone. And I don't know if he remembers this phone call with me, but it was something that was life-changing. I got on the phone and I said, He said, "How you doing? And how was day one?" And I said, "I only saw one patient today." And he said, "Tomorrow, maybe you'll see two. Maybe the next day you'll see four." He said, "This doesn't happen immediately. And some of it doesn't happen because you're not ready for it, Troy. You need to grow in who you are as a chiropractor. You need to grow as a
Yeah.
physician to get to that point."
Yeah.
And you know what? His words were prophetic. It happened, and it happened over time. But what that forced me to do was quit feeling sorry for myself, quit being pouty, and get back to the grind.
Yeah.
So in other words, I wish I could tell you that there were a cheat code and there were an easy way for you to be successful in practice. Here it is. Grind every day, better yourself every day. The
Yep.
benefit is at the end, but it isn't going to happen right at the beginning just because you wish it.
Yeah.
And Galatians doesn't say that. Galatians doesn't say, if you just wish that you had prosperity,
No,
get prosperity. It doesn't
It-
happen that way.
it says very plainly, be patient, work on mastering the good at what you do.
Yep.
And when you do that, if you do those things in proper time, you will see the harvest. You don't go out, you grow up on a farm, you don't go
Yep.
out, plant crops and wake up tomorrow and they're ready to be harvested. It takes time. It takes rain. It takes the whole farming process is you got to take care of it to make it grow, whether
Right.
it's fertilizing it or watering it or whatever. So you got to be patient, and we got to be patient in our practices. What we do has such a profound effect, positive effect on people. And it's not just the chiropractic adjustment, in my opinion. I think we touch people literally with an energy that no other healthcare provider has. And we get people to trust us, to believe in what we do, even though sometimes chiropractic seems a little intangible to people, but it works and people know that and they trust us, and people are turning their lives around because of what we do, because of our skill and our knowledge. And we're putting good back into the community. That will come back if we're just patient with it. We got to do the grind.
And unfortunately, you're going to have that 1 in 100 patients that didn't get it, doesn't understand it, doesn't like what
Okay.
you did. Sometimes, and I know that we hate this word, sales, but you know what? Sometimes I have to sell a patient on getting wellness care that's never gotten it before.
Sure.
And you know what? I've gotten this back from several patients just recently. You know what? I didn't know that I needed wellness care until I got it.
Yep.
And after about a year's worth of wellness care, because I always tell them, commit to a year. Oh my gosh, it's not that expensive. Come on now. Commit to taking care of yourself and maintaining yourself for a year. They get to the end of that year. And what's crazy is I'll bet 9 times out of 10, when people follow through with that year's worth of care, what they say to me is, oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to get in here today. I had no idea how much I needed care and how yucky I felt until I started feeling better. Now I know what my new normal is, and I can't stand to go back the other direction.
Right.
That is a lifetime patient, not because I sold them.
No.
Initially it was. Guess what? I had to sell them on it because they didn't know they needed it.
Wait a minute. Sales. I thought that was something you did in business. How does that creep into chiropractic? Oh, we own businesses.
Yeah. But do it for good.
Do it
because
for the
you're
good.
going to reap the benefit. If you're doing it for the good and you're not just throwing out, hey, you know what? I need an extra 10,000 in revenue in my practice this month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have every patient come in 2 more times this month. To me, that's illegitimate. That's illegitimate gains, right? Gains, not games, illegitimate gains. But if I look at patients and I go, I know that my patients that are on maintenance care do better, and I convert more patients to wellness care,
Yep.
and I develop a base that's with me long-term that gets benefit from it. It's a symbiotic relationship. They get the care they need, and I get to feed my family.
Yep.
It's a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful thing. I found this, I'm not sure who wrote this, but somebody wrote about Galatians 6:9 and gives an interesting interpretation. I want to bring that up when we come back from our break. So we got to hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
All right.
KC Chiropractic Consultants, your partner in chiropractic success. We are dedicated with one-on-one guidance to bring you all your practice management needs. Let's supercharge your practice. Give us a call today.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. We are talking about the good things that we do in practice, and we're talking about a piece of scripture, a verse of scripture. I shouldn't call it a piece, that I heard at church this last weekend. It's Galatians 6:9. So I encourage you guys to look it up. But I found this interpretation of it, if you will. Galatians 6:9 encourages believers to persevere in doing good. So are you thinking about your chiropractic adjustment as being good for the patient? Or are you thinking about, and piggybacking on what you just said a minute ago, Troy, before the break, are you focusing on the revenue it brings in your practice? And I truly believe that you have to focus on the good that you're doing. And it says it right here on the Bible, that you have to persevere in doing good, emphasizing that the rewards to you will come in due time if you don't lose your heart.
How about that? And
Wow.
that goes to every aspect of your life, folks. We're not just relating this to chiropractic and saying, hey, you can live a fruitless life and be horrible to everyone around you, but when you go into your practice, magically you're going to do good. No, this encompasses your whole life. And so if your whole thought process is to do good, and we're not talking about anything other than just this verse and the specifics of what it talks about, but it talks the benefit of living a Christian life, living a good life, doing the right thing for people. And so I agree. When we just look at revenue, and sometimes we get hung up on that, those of you that maybe aren't making as much money as you think you should in practice, or maybe you're just skating across the treetops. That's scary. I get it. It makes us want to focus on money, but we should really be focused on patient care and the good that we do patients. The money will come.
Yeah. I had an interesting lesson in that, if you will. You don't realize sometimes how good you're doing, all the good things that you're doing in your practice and in your community. When I sold my practice, I literally had hundreds of people send me messages about how we'd changed their lives, how important we'd become in their personal lives with their families and those kind of things in the community. So I'm not telling you to go sell your practice so that you can find this out, because I was fortunate. I had a chance to sell my practice, but I'm still in chiropractic because we have the wonderful ability to be mentors for so many doctors through CAS consultants. But I think we have to take a step back sometimes. And because of the grind, we're going to feel burned out from time to time. I think that's just a natural human emotion. But we've got to turn our mindset when we start feeling those kind of things. We've got to turn our mindset not towards attacking our business and attacking our practice and attacking chiropractic. I think we have to give it up to God and say, God, help me see the good that I'm doing, and help me live in the knowledge that in the future, because of what I'm doing and what I'm focused on, I'm going to be able to reap those rewards.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thought process. And I'm so glad that you were touched by that on Sunday, because I think it lays into the foundation of where we see some struggle in chiropractic for sure.
Absolutely.
There's a divide, and there's always a divide. I don't care what business you're in. You could be making widgets or cookies or doing chiropractic.
What kind of cookies?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Cookies that taste really good. Ones that don't, sometimes people don't do too well, but most cookies taste pretty good. But even those people fail in business sometimes.
Sure.
And some of it, I'm not telling you just because you're good to people, because some people think they're good to people by giving away free services. And
No.
maybe breaking the law when they're doing that because they're dealing with maybe a federal entitlement patient. So,
Right.
there's a way to do good for patients. We're not talking about giving away services or any of that.
No, not at all.
But when we do talk about success in chiropractic, unfortunately, there's a line, right? There's the haves and the have-nots. And we unfortunately speak with some of you that feel like you're a have-not. I just can't make it in chiropractic. I can't figure out why I'm not doing better. And we have a pretty comprehensive program to help you. But a lot of this deals with you getting your headspace right. You'd be surprised at how much of this is psychology and the headspace right here in between these ears. I played in my first competitive golf tournament in about 10 years, about 2 weeks ago. And the first 10 holes were a disaster. It looked like I'd never played golf before. But then I parred the next 6 holes in a row. And you
Nice.
know why I did? Because I looked at myself and I said, self, you came into this saying, be a tiger. You're good at what you do. You're a good golfer. Go at this. And what did I do? I got on the first tee box and looked at the 130 people around me that were also vying for the same competitive prize. And I looked at them and went, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And I think a lot of times we do that within our practices as well. I think the headspace right here gets to us. So part of what has to happen if you are in the have not category or you can't quite make it is we have to look at the psychology behind where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And negativity will not get you there. I can
It will.
guarantee that.
And that's part of what we do at CATS Consultants. We not only coach you to profitability and consult with you to be a better business person, but we also mentor you for your headspace. So if you're struggling out there, hang on the tree, give it up to God. Know that you're doing good things in your practice. Be ethical, be kind to people. People need that positive energy in their lives, and we can be the spark that makes that happen. Troy, this is a powerful message today.
Was. I think it not only was it powerful, it's something that you can take into your practice right now.
Right now.
You can
Troy-
make that change.
Yep. Troy and I'm not going to pull the veil off this completely, but Troy and I are working on a project that I think is going to help a lot of you doctors out there. Stay tuned. We'll unveil it here soon. And go check out catsconsultants.com and see all the great things that we do for chiropractors and our profession. And there's some free things on there. Most of all, thank you for tuning into the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share with your colleagues out there. We're growing like crazy and we appreciate it because it's because of you. Troy, anything to add?
No, I think we covered that so well that I think you guys need to get pen and paper out, write down what you're going to do, change your life, change your practice. Let's get to it.
Amen. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. We'll see you next time.
See ya.